may be seated. Board of Education, administration, faculty, staff, well-wishers, and class of 2022, I warmly welcome you to Neshannock High School's 63rd commencement. We are joined tonight by our distinguished speaker, alumna Stacy Barnes, graduate of the class of 1999. If you know me, you know I work from a series of lists I write on Post-it notes and scraps of paper, which I move, manipulate, add to, scratch off, and throw in the trash. The Post-it that moves to the left of my computer monitor on the Monday after prom, which represents the position of highest priority, simply reads speeches. What does this Post-it signify? As the class moves through the high school, I make mental notes of my observations, and these observations become my inspiration when I write a commencement address. Now, your class has given us, plenty of inspiration as you've blazed your trail. Quite frankly, I was struggling to organize my thoughts because of the sheer amount of inspiration. But then it happened in the 11th hour. The last song the DJ played at your prom was Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield, which is also your class song, as you know. What the chaperones and I witnessed was truly something special. All of you were dancing, jumping, hugging, and singing at the top of your lungs, especially the line, "Today is where your book begins, the rest is still unwritten." And just like that, I had the hook for my speech. So today is where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten. Yes, this is my message to you. I hope you know the promise, the limitless opportunity, and the tremendous support you have. Tonight you will walk across this stage, shake a few hands, and begin to write your story, your book. So let's talk a little bit about your book. So you pick up that metaphorical pen and you start writing. Sometimes the story writes itself effortlessly. It can be quick like a haiku or rhyme like a poem, but it can also be like a monster research paper about Emily Dickinson. And that's okay too. It's the experience that matters. But the best bit of advice I have for you is that regardless of the style, you can revise. Every one of us is in a perpetual state of becoming. Sometimes you can't erase, but you can always revise. A lot of you are already envisioning the table of contents. I get it, I'm a planner too. Some are sitting there thinking the story will write itself. Experience tells me it won't. Others of you are afraid you won't even find your pen. Don't worry, you will. For our perpetual planners, sometimes you might have to lose sight of your priorities in order to actually see them. It's backward thinking, but it works. For those of you who are a bit nervous and question your strength, remember that you can't drive with your eyes in the rearview mirror. And for all of you, write each word with care and confidence. So tonight is the first night of forever, but never forget you are a Lancer now and for always. Take your pen and write your story. The best is still unwritten. Congratulations. So I often use the phrase when I think of Neshannock and our graduates and the places they've gone in the world, that you can get there from here. And every year, these examples, these tremendous graduates we've had over the years come forth. They've gotten there from here, and tonight we have yet another stellar Neshannock graduate. She's a 1999 graduate of the junior-senior high school. Her name is Stacy Barnes. She is the Emergency Management Coordinator for Los Angeles World Airports. She has over 15 years of experience spanning emergency management, crisis communications, community outreach, engagement, and aviation. In her previous role as Emergency Management Coordinator for the City of Compton, Stacy restructured and modernized the city's emergency management program. She created a wide variety of innovative community preparedness programs and outreach initiatives, one of which received honorable recognition from the FEMA Individual and Community Preparedness Awards Program. In her current role at LAWA, Stacy works directly with all airlines, service providers, terminal tenants, local, state, and federal agencies, local businesses, and other airport stakeholders on emergency mitigation, preparedness, planning, and response initiatives, training programs, terminal evacuations and safety, intelligence analysis and threat prevention, and family assistance support after an airline accident or other mass casualty incident at the airport. Her emergency response expertise includes wildfires, earthquakes, severe weather events, utility failures, livestock disease, civil unrest, special event planning such as the Super Bowl, and infectious diseases such as H1N1 and COVID-19. Recognized as a leader in her field, Stacy is an active contributor to several professional organizations and committees dedicated to advancing emergency management, as well as training and mentoring the next generation of emergency managers. She is a certified emergency management instructor for FEMA, the state of California, and Los Angeles County. She serves as the director of the California Emergency Services Association Southern Chapter Board. She created the CESA Emergency Management Mentoring Program, which has been implemented statewide. She serves on the CESA Emergency Management Committee and Education Committees. And these committees have been created and defined the proficiencies, experience, knowledge, skills, training, and education necessary for emergency management professionals in the state of California. She was also recently appointed to the advisory board of the Women in Leadership Executive Program at the University of California, Santa Barbara. Stacy has a BA in English with a concentration in secondary education from Washington College, a Master's of Arts in Communication with a concentration in Organizational Development and Change from Hawaii Pacific University, and a Master's of Science in Emergency Service Administration from California State University, Long Beach, and dozens of other sector and threat-specific professional certifications. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to welcome to the podium Ms. Stacy Barnes, class of 1999. Before she starts, we do have a token of our esteem, not thinking that this has to go back to California, so it might be an extra checked bag, but we really appreciate you. It'll be
That's
right
okay.
here.
I always take an extra suitcase home with me because I shop here and I take it home with me. My mom likes to give away her suitcases, so I'll just pack it in that. Okay, everybody, good evening. Good evening, everyone, and hello, class of 2022. Are you guys excited? Yes, you can get a little bit more excited than that, I think. It's okay. You guys are out of here. It's okay. Be excited about it. I want to first thank Dr. Meehan, Principal Passarelli, and Ms. Jenny Flannery for providing me the opportunity to speak to you guys tonight. It's a privilege and an honor and kind of a surreal moment for me. Now, if you had told me 23 years ago when I walked this stage that one day I would be back up here as a distinguished alumni speaker, I would have laughed. Not out of disbelief, although at the time we did not have distinguished alumni speakers, and I think it's a fantastic idea. I love to see that, and I love to hear what other graduates have been doing, even in the surrounding classes or classes that graduated long before me. But because I vowed to myself that I was never coming back here. Now, please understand, this is not any negative feelings that I had towards the school or anything. I didn't hate my time here. I didn't hate anyone here. I just was ready to go. After having been here for 13 years, K through 12, I knew that there was such a far bigger world out there, which I imagine some of you might be feeling as well, and I was ready to go. I wanted to go discover the world. I wanted to learn new things, see new people, explore new areas, and live life on my own terms. And that's what I've done, and that's what I'm still doing today. So I will say that after 16 years of living in Los Angeles, it is a pleasure to come home to Newcastle. A pleasure. I have not seen rain. When I finally saw rain, I haven't seen rain since April 22nd. Can I tell you how nice it is? You guys are all like, oh my goodness, we'd like to see the sun. Yes, well, I'll give it to you. We'll switch for a few weeks. That'd be lovely. LA is a completely different world. It is the most populous county in the United States with over 10 million people living there. So in comparison, that is more than 100 times the population of Lawrence County and 1,000 times the population of Neshannock Township. And if you've ever been to LA at all or spent any time in Los Angeles, you know that all 10 million people are on the freeways at the same time every single day. Every day. It doesn't even matter what time it is, day or night, they're there. And sadly, I am one of them at times. I don't get home as often as I would like to, or as my parents or my friends would prefer, but I do enjoy my time when I'm here. There's just something comforting and grounding about coming back to a place where people knew you before you were anybody. I have to admit, I was getting a little bit bored listening to everything that I did too. So thank you for sitting there and bear with me, but also very proud of what I was able to do. And my foundation started here at Neshannock. It's also really nice to see green trees and grass, rain, like I said, gas prices below $7, and just friendly faces. My coworkers who are born and raised in California have no concept of Western Pennsylvania, despite my best efforts to explain it to them. But that's okay. We know we're pretty great. So when I was in this auditorium for my own commencement ceremony in 1999, I was about third or fourth in the front row from the left there. Was I there because I was valedictorian or salutatorian? Absolutely not. Was I there because I had honors? No. I was there because they had the choir sit up front because we sang a few songs, and alphabetically, my name is B, and I was right there in the front. That was it. I could have graduated as a valedictorian or with honors, but to be honest with you, I really just didn't want to work that hard. Kudos to each one of you who have, though, because I know I went to the school, I know what the curriculum is, and if it's anything like what I went through, I know how difficult it can be, and what you've accomplished is amazing, so congratulations to you. Even though I slacked off a bit more than my parents would have liked, and some of my teachers would have preferred, I have to say that I still earned very decent grades, and I got into really great schools. I have to say also that because of the strong educational foundation I received at Neshannock, I was prepared when I went to college. I was very prepared. The teachers who set a high standard on me and kind of held me accountable for being lazy at times, I appreciate you so much. I know they only did that because they knew that I was capable of achieving, but I didn't struggle. I didn't struggle like some of my other freshman classmates did, which is great because my first semester I wrote 15 term papers. But I was able to do so very easily and only questioned my life choices a couple of times, but I got good grades. In fact, I was able to make Dean's List multiple times in all of my degree program. So I didn't do it here, but I did it in college. So I would have to say to all my former teachers, the small number that are still here tonight, those that have long since retired and those who are no longer with us, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And to all of you guys, no matter what your GPA was, no matter whether you enjoyed your time here or not, you studied or not, doesn't matter. I can honestly say, and I hope that you can too, you have a really good foundation to start from. Whatever you're choosing to do with your life, you have a very good foundation here at Neshannock. So the path that where I began from high school to today is very unconventional, I know, and it's not originally what I had mapped out for myself at all. In geometry, we learned that the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, and that's one of like 5 things I remember from geometry, so bear with me. But life does not stick to a perfectly linear path between point A and point B. It'd be so much easier if it did, but that's not the way it goes, guys. In my experience, the route tends to look more like what you would expect after giving a chimpanzee an Etch-a-Sketch and asking him to draw the Statue of Liberty. I never expected to end up where I am today, but I'm really proud and happy for where I'm at. I doubt any of my classmates did either. I don't know if you guys did senior superlatives. Do you guys still do that? Yeah. So I have one too. Now it's it's a unique category, and you won't find it in our yearbook. You won't find it in our yearbook. It was an extra category we did for our May 1999 edition of the Nightly News, which I hope is the name of the school newspaper. Is it? I'm hoping that it is. But anyway, we came up with several fun categories, and the one that I won, which I believe was a unanimous vote, was most likely to be on the WWF, which is now the WWE. So, that's right, the class of 1999 voted me most likely to become a wrestling superstar. I suppose when you body slam a few football players in gym class, you earn a bit of a reputation. Now, to be fair, they put me in a headlock first, and I am not promoting violence. I would just like to say that we were roughhousing and goofing off. No, we are not enemies. We are still friends to this day, even 20-something years later, and we do talk. But yeah, people get most likely to succeed in business, best hair. I got Nacho Libre. But I'm cool with it. It's actually a great talking point in some of my classes that I teach. So in 1999, I had a pretty clear idea of what I wanted to do and why, and the exact route that I would take to get there. I was going to major in communications, but I was recruited to play softball at a Division III school. So, pause. Shout out to the Lancers softball team. Congratulations. So, this is very exciting for me because I was team season 1 and season 2 of the varsity. Myself and a few other players went down and petitioned the school board to be made a varsity sports. So my junior and senior year were the first 2 years we had Lady Lancers softball. So we weren't that great. But 2 years later, they won their first championship, and now look at you guys. I am so proud of you, and it just makes me so happy to know that something we started 25 years ago has grown to such an amazing program. Good job, guys. But in a Division III school, they don't offer academic scholarships. They don't offer that. And they also didn't offer communications as a major, so I decided to do English instead. And I also decided to major in education as like a fallback if I needed to. Now this is 1999, okay? The world was a very, very different place. I realize none of you were born yet, which kind of hurts a little bit, but you weren't born yet, but the world was so different. Our biggest concerns in 1999 were things like which boy band was better, NSYNC or Backstreet Boys, and spoiler alert, neither one. And Y2K. Did you guys even learn about Y2K in history class? Yes, no? Oh my goodness. So very briefly, a lot of people cut corners back when they programmed the original computers. And so when the year 2000 rolled around, there was a very big concern that the digits, instead of going 4 digits, they were only going to go 2. So when it reset to 0, it was going to cause a lot of chaos in the world, and things were going to fail. So at midnight on New Year's Eve, when we were counting down the ball drop with Dick Clark on television, and it strikes 12, pretty much everybody sat around and looked at each other for 30 seconds, waiting for the power to go off and the apocalypse to start. It didn't at all. But so we went on with our lives. But those were our biggest concerns in 1999. And I realized that your high school experience has been extremely unconventional. And I think that puts you better prepared to deal with what might happen in the future. For us, we had a great economy to look forward to. We had jobs, we had things going on. We had no idea that just 2 short years later, our entire world and our futures were going to be so heavily impacted by 9/11. 2 years after that, when I was graduating with my bachelor's, the economy was terrible, the job prospects were low, and the U.S. was at war. And what a difference it makes. So my original communication was to work in communications or journalism, like I said. I tried to do the fallback on teaching. I took a year off. I was going to be a guidance counselor. Took a year off, ended up going to a different school. I ended up going to Hawaii Pacific University. And that was a lot of fun, I have to say. You got to go to school on an island, go to Hawaii. It's wonderful. I didn't know anybody out there, but I packed up and I went. And while I was out there, I had the opportunity to intern at the former Hawaii State Governor Linda Lingle's office in their communications department. That was really awesome to do that. I got to do a lot of press conferences and press forwards and learn about political nuances, which there's a lot of political nuances in the world, media, how to write press releases, letters of recommendations, letters of commendations. In the fall of 2005, I had an opportunity to take an elective in emergency management, which I didn't even know was a class. I mean, I knew about FEMA, I knew what was going on, I knew that they existed, but I had no idea how it worked. As we were learning the ins and outs of emergency management, we were watching Hurricane Katrina decimate New Orleans, and we were seeing everything not happen that was supposed to. And then throughout the rest of that year, the many different hurricanes that struck the Gulf and the coast, just disaster after disaster after disaster. About 8 months before, we had the Indonesian tsunami. If you guys are familiar with that, it killed a lot of people. A very large earthquake killed a lot of people around. So during this time, something clicked, and I was like, man, I think I really found out what I want to do with my life. Here it is, 2 graduate degrees, 2 degrees later, but I realized I'm going to have to get more schooling in this field, and so that's what I did. I went back to school. So in 2005, there's only three graduate level emergency management programs in the United States, 2 in Maryland and 1 in California. I already done my undergraduate in Maryland, so that's how I picked California. I decided that's where I'm gonna go. They were all good schools, but I was very happy. While I was there, I had an internship with Ontario Fire Department. When that ended, I had an internship with the city of Compton, which turned into my first job. And yes, it is that Compton. It is that Compton, guys. I heard that everybody is very into the old school hip hop music now that Super Bowl is over. So, but yes, I worked there for 11 years, and it was an amazing experience, and not at all what you think, not at all what you guys might think. So after I got hired in LAX at 2019, and I'm entering my 4th year. So I started out wanting to be a teacher, a guidance counselor, working in communications, and I ended up doing something completely different. But I have to say, and I think I can honestly say, I can use all 3 of my degrees every single day in some capacity. Like, as you heard, I'm an instructor, so I still teach. I write curriculum. I do communications. I work with our public relations team, and I do a lot of outreach in the community. I'm very grateful for that because I paid a lot of money for those degrees, so at least I know that I'm getting my money's worth. But what I want you guys to know is that it's okay if you don't have it all figured out. Some of you might think that you do, and I know I certainly did because I had my life perfectly mapped out. But then things happened and I had no control of them. None of us did. All of our lives changed, everybody in this room. It's okay to change your mind, your educational plans, your career choices, and your overall direction and priorities in life. It's okay. In fact, I will be bold enough to say that within 5 years, all of you will do at least one of those things. And many of you will do at least more than one. Some of you will make these multiple changes at different intervals throughout your life. And you know what? That is okay, guys. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Life is unpredictable, and you need to flex and flow with it. Okay. Take time to get to know yourself over the next few months, separate from Neshannock. Whether you're headed off to college, the military, or joining the workforce, life is very different outside of the parameters of high school. The person you are today is not who you're going to be 6 months from now. Literally, when you guys come home for Thanksgiving break, you're gonna be like, wow, you guys are so different. It's gonna be amazing, but also it's gonna be a little bit of a shock for you guys at the same time. You're not gonna be the same person a year from now, 10 years from now. If you don't take the time to get to know who you are now, someone will come along and tell you. And if you don't have the confidence that comes with knowing who you are, who you truly are, you'll believe them. And these types of people don't always have your best interests at heart, so be careful. What are your core values? What do you stand for? Core values are important because they are your fundamental beliefs. They are your guiding principles that influence your behavior. They help you differentiate between right and wrong. They contribute to your overall success. They help you establish firm boundaries, which are extremely necessary in all of your all of your relationships, personal, professional, and so on. You likely already have some core values instilled on you by your parents, by your teachers, by your coaches, but I encourage you to take the time to reevaluate these and decide what is best for you. Please remember that you are under no obligation. You are under no obligation to live up to anyone's expectations of you. I know that's hard when you're a teenager and everybody tells you what to do, but you don't have to. Now, this is not a license to be purely selfish and self-centered, so please don't think that. However, this is your life and only you can live it. You don't have to do anything because someone expects you to, even if it is your family, and that's also very hard, and parents don't get angry at me, but do what is right. Do what you know is best. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes, and you will make a lot of them. Everyone does, and let me tell you, I've made some spectacular ones in my life. I'm talking complete dumpster fires. Possibly the landfill is catching on fire. Certainly not some of my finest moments in life, but what I've learned is that you are not defined by your mistakes, but by how you deal with the consequences. You can choose to take responsibility for your actions, make amends, learn the lesson, apply it to your life, and move on. Or you can wallow in shame and self-pity, having a negative attitude and just being unwilling to work on those areas of your life. And it's different if you need help. If you need help, ask for help. Absolutely. Always ask for help. But don't allow those things to create roadblocks that'll hinder your future. I will say this too, please do not despise the small beginnings or be afraid of a little hard work. Very few people go straight from college or an entry-level position to a C-suite corner office. When I'm saying C-suite, I'm talking CEO, COO, corporate areas. And if they do, it's usually only because a relative owns the company. Unless you're Elon Musk, but his parents had money. So it's a little bit more common for that to happen in certain industries like media and tech, but these positions and companies are often really, really volatile. You may have to work a job that you don't want to, that you don't exactly like or want to do, but it's necessary to help you pay your bills in the immediate time to get you to where you want to go while you're working towards your goals. You may even have to take an unpaid internship or two to gain the experience that you need to secure your dream job. Two of my three graduate internships were unpaid. I bartended and I cocktailed. I burned the candle at both ends. I worked sometimes 80 hours a week between school, interning, and my job. And I was very tired. I don't recommend this, and I'm not advocating for it because it isn't healthy for you. It was a short-term thing that I needed to do to get over the hump. And I was happy to do it because I knew that if I just pushed through, I was going to achieve my goal. Almost done, guys. Get out of Newcastle and see the world if you can. I don't know how many of you are going away to college, but if you can, I hope you've chosen one that's either another state or at least a few counties over. If your school is a study abroad program, I urge you to look into it and check it out. That was one of the best things I ever did was study abroad in London, and I understand the world is a very crazy place right now, but it will not always be this way. There are safe places to go, and there will continue to be so as we come out of the pandemic. But you need to get out of the Newcastle bubble for a bit. And I don't know if they still call it the Neshannock bubble, but they did when I was still here, and so that's what I'm going to refer to. But go out and see the world, experience, get your education, live your life. If you want to come home, that's fine. In fact, please do. Come home with all of your education, your experience, and make this place better. Pour back into the community that raised you and helped you get to where you are today. I promise you, Newcastle's not going anywhere. It will always be here. Certain things will always be the same, certain things will change, but this place is not going anywhere, so you always have a place to go. Bring your fresh perspectives, those innovative ideas, and improve the community. And whatever you can do to make the world a better place, please do it. Not everybody has the same sphere of influence. This is not judged by hierarchy. It's not judged by size or the number of people that you're touched, whether you end up being a world leader or a housewife. It doesn't matter. Whatever you can do, you should do. Because everything you do is impactful. Whether you know it or not, it's impactful and it matters. And the last thing I will end with this is kindly be aware of your online presence. I know that's a random thing to end with, but it was one of the first things I thought about when I was trying to craft my address to you guys. When I was in school, we had analog phones. We didn't have text messaging. And I sound so ancient when I say that. I can't believe it's only been 23 years, but that's how fast technology goes. Whatever you post online exists forever. Okay, there's a copy of it somewhere. So I know that there's TikTok and all sorts of fun things and stuff. I sit on the board of a few different professional organizations, and I had to sign something called an ethics clause. Some companies actually have something called a morality clause when you get hired with them, and they will investigate. And you may have talked about this when you applied for colleges, because I believe colleges sometimes scope out your social media to see who you are and what you're made of as well. So just be mindful of what you post. You certainly don't want to post something at a very young age that might come back to get you later on in your professional career. I think we've seen all of that happen quite a few times in the news lately, and you certainly wouldn't want it to happen to you. The internet, like all things, tools can do two things. They can create or destroy. Social media and the internet is a tool that does both. So just choose wisely. So thank you for listening to me, guys. I'm so excited for you. Congratulations. I wish you nothing but God's greatest blessings and a successful and happy life. Congratulations.
Thank you, Stacy. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to welcome your class salutatorian, Maya Morozak.
Welcome families, faculty, administration, and most of all, our class of 2022. As we sit here at graduation, we realize that this is what we have been moving towards for the past 13 years of our lives. Throughout our high school years, but especially this senior year, we have grown individually and together as a class. This evening, I would like to highlight the impact of our school experiences by moving through our seasons of change. As the colors changed with the falling leaves, so did our lives. While fall created a change in nature, we moved from summer to the beginning of our last year of high school. The fall season was signified by new schedules, a school dance, and senior snapshots, which will one day represent a memory of our senior year. The calm start of the year as we settled in paralleled the mild and comfortable temperatures characterized by the autumn season. We acclimated to the academic year and prepared for the upcoming school seasons. As temperatures dropped, we began the season of waiting for our plans to unfold. We were in the season of winter, full of dormancy and darkness. Winter was the season of our year where we waited to see growth in our futures. We filled our time with successful sports seasons, extracurricular activities, and spending the holidays with family. However, there was a sense of uncertainty as we anticipated college decisions, job opportunities, and military assignments. During the winter months, we fielded the unavoidable question, what do you plan to do next year after school? Yet we waited for the snow to melt, searching for signs of spring, and waiting for our possible plans to emerge. As our plans began to bloom, we entered the spring season of our year. The dormancy of winter faded away, making room for spring decisions about future plans. The season was packed with senior activities, from prom to sidewalk chalk to our recent trip to Cedar Point. This season allowed us to flourish as we made memories and completed our list of last trips to school, last tests and classes, and last moments with classmates. Spring was the season of our year where our plans for the future grew. For many of us, we were finally able to answer the question of what we plan to do for the upcoming year. It was time for us to conclude our academic year and enter the season of summer. As temperatures rise, except for in Fry's room, and we approach summer, it is our time to shine. Despite the lack of certainty and sunlight we experienced in the winter season, along with the budding hope of our future plans in the spring, summer allows us to reflect on our past seasons while anticipating our bright futures. Summertime brings packing for college, preparing for careers, or getting in shape for the military. There is no guarantee for what is to come, but summer provides us with the certainty that it is time to take action toward our destinies. As graduates, we will be able to see our future starting to unfold with the change in seasons. In the future, we will all cycle through these seasons, and the importance of embracing change will extend beyond our senior year. President John F. Kennedy said, "Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future." The changing of seasons will be inevitable throughout the rest of our lives, as there will always be gentle falls, dormant winters, blooming springs, and vibrant summers. We need to appreciate each season for the role it plays in the cycle of our lives. Fall offers mild weather and a gentle transition from summer, while winter brings darkness and uncertainty, which allows us to appreciate spring blossoms. Spring allows us to watch our winter aspirations bloom. Finally, the summer season provides us with hope for the future. We would like to thank our families, the faculty, and the administrators for providing your knowledge, guidance, and support, which allowed us to move through the seasons leading to this point. The seasons experienced through our senior year will guide the class of 2022 as we move toward our future seasons. Therefore, we need to enter the future fully with the willingness to embrace the changes to come. I'll leave you with advice from author Teresa Lewis. Every new season will be an opportunity for you to learn and grow. Don't celebrate the good without celebrating the bad, because they both work together to prepare you for the next season of your life. So as we walk across this stage tonight and take our first steps into the future, we'll each follow our own paths through the seasons of our lives. Class of 2022, help me welcome to the podium our Neshannock High School Class of 2022 Valedictorian Millie-Anoge.
Good evening, friends, teachers, parents, and of course, the talented class of 2022. Today is the day we've all been waiting for since the start of this amazing journey. We did it. Some of us couldn't wait for this moment, while others probably thought we would never get here. And by others, I'm not talking about the students. I'm talking about Mr. Fry and Mr. Burks. I don't think any of us realized that it would come this fast, despite everyone telling us that time flies by. Neshannock High School has given each of us a unique experience, a mixture of laughter, friendship, last-minute studying, good times and bad times, but hopefully more good than bad. Our journey has prepared us to face whatever obstacles our future may present to us. I mean, we already made it through COVID and online classes, so basically we can do anything we set our minds to. When I first started writing this, I did what anyone in our class would have done the past 4 years. I turned to Google. I looked at speech after speech, video after video, only to come to the conclusion that no matter what I wrote, or stole from someone else, it wouldn't be sufficient enough to detail how special our time at Neshannock has been. As we look back over the years, we've had so many things to deal with, both good and bad. Who will ever forget COVID and masks, desks being 6 feet apart, missing activities, temperature scans, and Schoology? In the midst of all this, we learned how to adapt, how to deal with adversity, and to find a way to succeed. Our good outweighs the bad, though. We've accomplished so much over the last 4 years. Today, we celebrate our achievements and victories, both as individuals and as a school. I mean, 3 state championships in 1 year? That's incredible. Shout out to the Neshannock cheerleaders, the girls basketball team, and the back-to-back state champs, the Neshannock hockey team. Additional shout-outs go to the undefeated golf team, Bella Tinsman's numerous swimming awards and records, and the football, tennis, boys basketball, baseball, and volleyball teams who all made it to playoffs. Addie Watts placed 4th in javelin at states. Nick Zidkevich, Christian Golub, and Lorenzo Scarnardi achieved the rank of Eagle Scout, and our boys were the Powder Puff volleyball champions. And we're finally graduating. Graduation marks the end to another chapter in our lives. Some of us might be anxious about the future because, unlike Macbeth, we can't just skip to the end to see where the future will take us. Others may be sad to leave the past behind. As our class song says, today is where your book begins, the rest is still unwritten. Everything will work out just as it's supposed to. Through Neshannock, we've made friendships and memories that will last a lifetime, and nothing can change that. If there's any advice I could give you, it would be to look to your loved ones when times are tough, because they've been and always will be there to support you. When times are good, look to those same people because they're the ones who make life worth living. Other than that, it would be to do things well in life, but not too well, because then it could backfire and you'll have to give a speech. So, seniors, if I were to ask you what you would do differently in your high school experience, what would it be? Most of you might be sitting there drawing a blank, and you know what? I'm in the same boat. After reflecting on this question a bit myself, I don't think there's anything that I would change. Each of our experiences have brought us to this moment and made us who we are. Although very different, every one of us has the potential to soar to great limits. These limits and our futures are unknown. However, we can always come back down to our roots here at Neshannock. All 95 of you sitting in front of me should be proud of yourselves for making it to the end of this path, or should I say the start. I hope you have no regrets and know that this class will always be something you can fall back on. As for myself, I'm honored to be our class's valedictorian. Out of all the bright individuals and creative personalities, I'm grateful to be up here speaking on behalf of us. I would not be on this stage if it weren't for numerous people who have guided me through the years. I would like to thank some of those people now. Thank you to the faculty and staff, from the teachers and principals to the custodians and lunch staff, for making our journey enjoyable. Thank you to Mrs. J, who didn't yell at me when I took her parking spot during AP testing. Thank you to my classmates. You're all wonderful people, and I'm so glad we were able to do this together. Thank you to my grandparents. You've always supported me and helped me get to places when my parents couldn't. Thank you to my sisters, Erilyn and Jaden, for always being there for me. And finally, thank you to my parents for pushing me to be my best. I wouldn't be who I am today without their influence. So, I'm relieved that this is finally over, but I hope I left some lasting impressions. Congratulations to the class of 2022. It really is a great day to be a Lancer.
Very nicely spoken, Maya and Nalia. Starting to get good now. At this time, I'd like to welcome to the podium our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Terrence P. Meehan. Dr. Meehan, as Superintendent of Neshannock Township School District, the Pennsylvania Department of Education establishes standards for the award of a secondary school diploma. As the principal of Neshannock High School, I certify that the members of the class of 2022 have met these standards. At this time, I recommend these students before you are presented with a Neshannock High School diploma.
Thank you, Mr. Passarelli. And congratulations to the class of 2022. You have all heard great words of praise, prayer, and wisdom over the past few days. I would like to echo those words of praise to the students of this class. Your future is certain to be filled with many great experiences. There is no doubt we will continue to hear great things about the members of this graduating class. We have high standards at Neshannock, and you have met them all. Congratulations. On behalf of the Board of School Directors, the administration, faculty, and staff, we wish you the very best. It's been an honor to share your educational journey with you. As Superintendent of Schools of Neshannock Township School District, I respectfully and enthusiastically accept the recommendation for graduation made by the principal. Therefore, by the authority vested in me by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Department of Education, I hereby certify to all those present that these students have attained the requirements set forth for graduation. Mr. David Antuano, President of the Neshannock Township School Board Directors, I ask that you please assist me in the distribution of the diplomas. Mr. Passarelli, please begin roll call of the graduates. Congratulations.
Class Valedictorian, Nalia Juanita Nogue. Class Salutatorian, Maya Alyssa Morozak. Eliza Mitchell Beal. Isabella Rose Hassan. Our next graduate has made a commitment to the United States Navy, Tierney Kess Hilton. Lillian Margaret Hunt. Leah Taylor Quinn. Bella Rose Tinstman. The sounds of success. Who knew? Skylar Sierra Vancevich. Adelaide Rose Watts. Kylan Gates Alduke. Savannah May Allen. Landon John Aller. Michael Joseph Altmeyer. Jocelyn May Anderson. Kelsey Lynn Avu. Samuel William Ball. Aubrielle Josephine Benson. Samuel Paul Bessel. Cole Grayson Branowski. Victoria Nicole Kane. Gianna Lynn Canciello. Maria Therese Claus. Sebastian Alfred Coiro. Victoria Lou Conrad. Faith Sephra Cooper Aguilera. J. Christopher Corey. Joelle Maria DeLillo. Emma Nicole DeRosa. Elizabeth K. DeVincentis. Colin Jacob Docherty. Lucas Jacob Doubt. Sabrina Catherine Fee. Shane Liam Fee. William Paul Fletcher. Eleni Nicolette Fukas. Philip Anthony Frazzo. Alexander Robert Frazier. Justin John Freese. Olivia Marie Fulkerson. Milan Dominic Fusco. Robert Lee Fusco. Elena Marie Janock. Christian Andrew Golub. McKenna Elizabeth Hale. Haley Nicole Harkar. Mia Jo Hassan. Autumn Ray Hendry. Iman Carlo Holmes. Adeline Vonna Hopkins. Leif Thomas Holtquist. Gina Marie Janiel. Noah Michael Kalpich. Andrew Sylvester Keller. Rachel Elaine Kroner. Caitlin Downey Kurtz. Hannah Eleanor Quat. Kyle Anthony Lewis. Paul Ralph Latrenta. Lisbeth Guadalupe Lopez. Mason Marino Manis. Bain Nathan McGann. Abigail Elizabeth Miter. Devin Charles Mong. Haley Michelle Montague. Natalie Rose Marone. Mackenzie Joe Moses. Sophie Elizabeth Mondakis. Landry Mary Noviello. Cameron Alexander Owens. Jonathan Richard Pallarino. Joshua Vincent Pallarino. Jacob Alexander Pino. Joshua Ryan Prosson. Reagan Page Quimby. Our next graduate is our foreign exchange student from France, Laura Rabai. Vincy Lee Restino. Dominic Luciano Rocca. Our Our next graduate has made a commitment to the United States Air Force. Cross Thomas Rogers. Brian Joseph Roselli. Ryan Joseph Roselli. Salem Monroe Roth. Angelina Maria Russo. Nicholas Stephen Zakevich. Marissa Grace Sad. Lorenzo Anthony Scarnati. Elena Danielle Schill. Colton Brandon Schaefer. Landon Allen Schaefer. Kurt Payat Sommerfeld. Lexi Renee Sontag. Michael Alexander Sopko. Sam Adam Strobel. Emilio Ronald Valentine III. Emma Ann Ward. Class of 2022, if you can please stand and turn and face the audience. The turning of the tassel on the graduation cap is symbolic of an individual's movement from candidate to graduate. It signifies the attainment of standards set forth, in this instance, by the Board of Directors of Neshannock Township School District and the Pennsylvania Department of Education. At this time, please turn your tassel from the right side of your cap to the left side of your cap to signify your graduation from Neshannock High School. Congratulations. Alrighty, grads, you can turn back and face my way. I won't get this picture much longer. It's always bittersweet to plan for this evening. On one hand, we're excited to watch you write the unwritten, but sad to know this chapter has concluded. But please know that your pen is a very powerful tool. It's always a pleasure to welcome back our distinguished graduates as well. Thank you, Stacy, for your wit and your wisdom. It will serve our graduates well. We also have a few esteemed faculty members who are holding the pen and ready to write a new chapter called retirement. So congratulations to our Neshannock Township School District retirees, Mr. Robert Burks, Mr. Frank Antuano, Mrs. Tracy Jursich, and Mrs. Colleen Schaller. Class of 2022, it has been quite a journey. You've experienced so much during your years at Neshannock, and we hope you picked up a lot of knowledge along the way as well. So go forth and find your joy, peace, and happiness. Congratulations. At this time, we will process from the auditorium, beginning with the participants on the stage, our faculty, and then our graduates. We will meet once again in the gymnasium. The graduates will toss their cap in the air, and if we can get things organized, we will have an all alumni picture. So any Neshannock graduate in the audience, we'll try to get you together with the class of 2022 for that picture. Thank you for your kind attention. Graduates, go make this world a better place.